Hey loves, this is Janelle, the relationship coach behind the successful invisible, and this is another episode of Response and React. So, ladies, let's get into something that episode 2 of Sean Combs' The Reckoning made painfully clear. Jealousy, power, and violence are all male patterns of behavior that women need to stop ignoring and that are indeed huge red flags about power and insecurity. They are warning signs, and too many women have been conditioned to ignore them until the damage is irreversible. Because what this episode exposed is not just Diddy's behavior, it's the pattern of insecure men everywhere. The charm, the charisma, the ambition, and beneath it all, a bottomless pit of envy, entitlement, and emotional instability that eventually becomes dangerous to anyone in his orbit. This isn't a celebrity gossip conversation. This is a relationship safety lesson about the exact traits modern dating keeps trying to package as confidence, alpha energy, or provider potential. So today, we're breaking down how jealousy, ego, and unchecked insecurity evolve into the kind of behavior that destroys careers, friendships, families, and women's lives. If you've ever loved a man whose potential overshadowed his patterns, you need to hear this. Let's talk about the signs we don't get to ignore anymore.
So, Diddy killed Pac and Biggie. Mind you, my father, who is the king of conspiracy theory YouTube, told me that in fucking 2009 after watching a conspiracy theory video. I knew about Jake. You know what's crazy? All my dad's crazy ass conspiracy theories coming true, and he's like 3 for 3 right now. Something about when you hear a California accent amongst other accents, it makes it way more like you can hear it more. Like something about listen to all them OGs talk amongst like the New York accents as well. I was like, oh, ooh, I hear it. Girl, let me tell you this. I'm trying to get my nonviolent PR down. I'm sitting here doing my business work. You feel me? Doing the BOGO. Shameless plug, child. The link is in my bio for the weight loss kits, girl. Tupac was not wrong for seeing the person who shot him and stolen off of him. Oh my God. But you should have took your ass home. Why would you go back outside after that? Why the fuck would you not go the fuck home? And that'd be the problem when... Okay, I'm not going to victim blame, my bad. And I also kind of want to victim blame Biggie a little bit because that's what I be talking about. You can't go against your discernment. I don't care who the fuck you talk to. You cannot go against your fucking discernment. You didn't want to go. You should have went to UK. And it's just very stressful for me because people be knowing when it's a setup. It's like Pac knew that he ain't know that Biggie wasn't setting him up, but he knew it was Bad Boy setting him up. He said, fuck y'all. Fuck y'all. I'm so sad that Biggie got caught in the crosshairs because he obviously fucked with bro. And they were saying, Diddy was jealous of Pac. I see that because they're both loud ass, charismatic ass niggas. That's the thing. You only need one of them in a room, or else it becomes like a pissing contest. And then you have niggas who take it to the degree that Diddy did. It could really only be one of them type of boys in the room. And no shade. Pac the type to I think he would have been more charismatic. Like if I had been a young hot thing in the 90s and it had been Pac or Biggie, I don't went for Pac because Biggie the type, he a bugaboo. He seemed like a bugaboo ass man. You know what I'm saying? Pac the type, oh baby, just coming. He real smooth with it. I can see how that's being intimidating as fuck. Unrelated, did y'all know Craig Mack died of HIV/AIDS complications because he refused treatment and then had his family tell everyone he died of a heart attack? I was just, with his ex-wife on here talking, I said, what Craig Mack doing? Because I remember that he had passed away, but I would, when you watching shit, you look people up. And he died in 2018. It's so far now, they done said, well, it was HIV/AIDS complications that he didn't get treated for. In the stigma, child, I've been seeing on Twitter people coming forward. My friend came forward, shout out to Eddie, and said, living, undetectable, child, in the stigma, girl. Eddie been getting some nasty replies. He been taking them too. Whack him again. And the thing, if you want to stay around Diddy, you got to be a slimy person because you see how even at the point of his, what's the boy name who he started Bad Boy with, it did get to the point where he was doing whatever Diddy said, but then when he tried to screw Biggie's estate and say, no, you need to do the right thing, then he was fired. So you really, when you can't have no moral compass dealing with somebody like that, and that's what lead me to believe whatever he got his children wrapped up in, because it's hard to get that moral compass when you're dealing with your parent, your child. Okay, now, them boys might be involved in some shit, but I just ended episode 2. I don't know yet. I just seen what y'all been saying about Justin on motherfucking Twitter. Also, it was kind of funny when the lady asked Suge Knight if you knew who killed Tupac, would you say something? He said, absolutely not. know Suge know who killed Tupac. We didn't know that. That's why that man said, yeah, he looked me dead in the face. Me and Suge done known each other since we were 7, 8 years old. Exactly. That's exactly how that gang should go. That's exactly how that gang should go. Y'all be in the same schools. Y'all be playing against each other's basketball game. Y'all be knowing. Y'all be looking at motherfuckers. You was at the fucking community center where shoot you in the face. That shit is crazy when you think about it.
Usher's mama, you low down dirty scoundrel. We are finally on episode 2 so I can address you properly. I actually don't have time to catch you up. If your name is Patrick Starr and you live under a rock, check with your classmates in the comments. We are on episode 2 of Sean Combs' The Reckoning. I want the record to show that I have always, even as a child, thought it was weird that Usher Raymond's mama would get in her car with her kid from Tennessee, drive it to Atlanta or New York or wherever the fuck they was in America, see Papa Diddy Pop, P. Diddy, keep up, and say, you know what? My son want to be a singer so goddamn bad, you take custody. And then leave your kid? Period. That's the sentence. But then leave them with Sean Combs? I have said this on the internet and I will forever agree. Andre Harrell and Clive Davis are the Diddys in Diddy's story. I can't even really get started because I want to cuss Usher mama out so bad, disrespectfully. I just hope that she sleeps so uncomfortably at night while everybody else in the world is in REM sleep. Just, I hope she's tossing and turning. I hope that it's always hot on her side of the bed. And then even when she moved to the other side, then boom, it's hot too. I pray that her pillow forever stays flat. May you know no neck support up under there. I pray that her mattress still has springs in them and that they hurt her back. Usher's mama, why would you leave your son with Diddy? Sean Puff Daddy, Puffy P. Diddy, Brother Love Combs, also known as Papa Diddy Pop. If you are honestly the reason that Tupac Shakur is not here, I pray you never, ever make it out of whatever dirty lockdown cell they got you in. Honestly, I hope one of them guards come find you and escort you to the basement and lock the door. Solitary confinement, honestly, for you for the rest of your sentence. So, in episode 2, we learned that Papa Diddy Pop was jealous of Tupac. That light that was in him and not on him, Diddy wanted that. He hated the way that Tupac rode for Biggie. He hated that Tupac only saw it for Diddy. He saw straight through the monster that Sean Combs is. He saw it, right? Oh, rock, big horns, okay? Papa Diddy Pop didn't like that, so he put $1 million on Tupac and Suge Knight's head. Let's take it a step further, right? Because you got to know people to put money on somebody's head. The people that he knew, Crips, allegedly. All respect to them, okay? I don't know no Crip that don't do nothing but show love and feed the community. But he allegedly was in with the Crips because of a man that he called his uncle named Zip from Harlem. Wasn't really his uncle. He just also moved that way. That OG introduced him to another OG. You know how it works. Maybe you don't. I can't explain it all to you. Long story short, the car that Usher Raymond was on, the car that a young Usher Raymond was just on, just dancing around, singing to the ladies in the video. Can you get with it? That car belonged to one of the OGs. Usher Raymond's mama. I just don't understand the psychology. And then you want to talk about some of the later days. I'm the manager. I'm the mama. Nothing gets past me. Except your son's booty hole, allegedly. I can't. What made you leave him with a grown man? Too much. It's too much. It's too much. Come back in the next part. We're going to have to talk about Kirk, the co-founder of Bad Boy. And then we're going to have to talk about, did Papa Diddy Pop make Biggie's estate pay for his own funeral? Please. Next time someone hold Diddy down, it should be underwater. Water. Next time someone hold Diddy down, it should be underwater. Water. I hope he can't swim. I hope he can't. You knocked Tupac out. You tried to get at Suge. That didn't work. You only got Tupac and Suge's best friend. That was crazy. First of all, if you catch a body and that body is my best friend, don't walk up to my best friend, hold the gun to her, and then look me dead in the eyes while you unaliving her. Don't do that, because now I'm going to have to do you. So part of your plan worked. You get Tupac out the way. Suge is still around, but now you've got to get rid of Biggie. You bring Biggie to LA during the height of the East Coast, West Coast drama. Drama that you kind of manufactured, okay? Then you leave that man there because that man was supposed to leave and go to UK. He was supposed to be the first bad boy artist to be in front of UK press. You say, no, don't go to UK. Don't expand our business. Don't expand your music portfolio for the business. Stay in LA. Less than 24 hours after you make that call, Biggie's dead. After Biggie dies, you position yourself to the media to be Biggie's best friend. The person who knew him best. Whole time. BIGPOPPA. Don't even really fuck with you like that. Then, you say, you know what? My man Biggie we going to throw him the biggest funeral ever. You start seeing the funeral costs. That's why y'all should get life insurance, because it is. Funeral companies, y'all be jigging because it don't even cost that much. And people die every goddamn day. Y'all can come up with some of them prices. You say Biggie's estate is going to pay for it because my pockets, no. I want to take a moment to pause right here. That sources close to Biggie's estate allege that Biggie's estate did not pay for the funeral. Okay? Again, I'm done with people talking to me in absolutes and not showing me nothing. If he ain't pay for it, the estate didn't pay for it, show me. If the estate did pay for it, show me. 50 Cent, I'm looking at you. Because if you get up on this Netflix screen and you tell us, the people, that his estate paid for his funeral, show me. Tupac is gone. Biggie is gone. Andre done showed you how to hide the money so that your artists don't get rich just like you. He showed you how to charge the artist every time you're in the video saying, take that, doing a little spin. Now you get a check, right? He showed you the way, but you still don't own 100% of Bad Boy Records. That's a problem. Insert Kirk. Kirk owns 25% of Bad Boy. Janice Combs owns 75%. Together, that's 100, right? But Diddy wants the whole thing. According to Kirk, Diddy walks up into Kirk's office with a man holding a bat and some paperwork and says, sign over your 25%. I need it real quick. I'm gonna give it back to you, right? Because people with bats, you need them because you're going to borrow it, right? I used this thread because I agree. Kirk told us the good, the bad, and the ugly. It feels like the whole truth and nothing but the truth, right? And he told us even when it didn't make him himself look good. Part of that truth is that he knows Diddy's deceptive business practices. According to him, when Biggie passed away, Biggie had already signed his next contract, right? Them terms wasn't going to be good for Diddy, right? Especially now that Biggie's not alive. So what he wanted Kirk to do was go into the middle of the contract, change some language, and then switch the middle papers out. Keep Biggie's signature. We don't have to forge nothing. We not changing nothing on that page. But we're going to make it look like he signed a contract that he did not sign. Moving on, Kirk is literally forced to sign over his 25% of Bad Boy that he owns, now rendering him not an owner of Bad Boy and giving Diddy the whole 100% of the pie. Papa Diddy Pop did everything them people say he did, and honestly, I say we find a way to keep him in jail.
As we get more and more into this documentary, it's getting darker and darker. Literally, I've just finished episode 2, and now you're telling me that all of this stuff has happened, and you're seeing things that you've seen in other documentaries and heard about, but you're seeing like a whole different type of. I said it on my YouTube, yeah. It's kind of like when you watch other documentaries or other movies that are related to these circumstances that have happened, right? And now you watch this one, it kind of like pieces the puzzle together. Now, I just want to say before we continue with this, everything in this video is alleged. Yeah, I can't lie. Everything in this video is alleged because there's things in this documentary that people haven't heard or seen before. So, yeah, that's what I'm saying. This documentary is dark. Like, it's dark. And I still got 2 more episodes to go. And also, I've seen that online that Diddy has sent a cease and desist to have Netflix remove the documentary. It's actually too late. Like, people have watched it. Like, if you haven't watched all 4 episodes, I suggest you do that just in case. You never know. But I know 50 Cent is smart, you see. He's smart. He worked around that. So I have nothing to worry about personally. And before we also get into this as well, if you want to see the full version of the review, be sure to check out my YouTube channel. It is the same as my name, and it'll also be in the description as well. November 4th, 1994, Diddy was celebrating his birthday. He wanted to work with Tupac on a business level, but Tupac just wasn't having it. And they also had like some tension built up as well towards each other. Tupac was more interested in Biggie and his career, and Puff was threatened by that. Remember that, and I said it in yesterday's review as well, Puff Daddy was threatened by people who had natural shine, who people gravitated to naturally without them having to be manipulated. November the 30th, 1994, Mark Curry, who was part of Bad Boy, he was a Bad Boy artist, sorry. Tupac was doing a song with Lil Sean, and as Lil Cease was Biggie's right hand at the time. As Lil Cease went to go and meet Tupac, two guys with guns told them to get back into the elevator, and Tupac ended up getting shot 5 times in an attempted robbery. If you guys have seen All Eyes on Me, that what that man was describing is literally in the film. Like, you should go watch All Eyes on Me if you haven't. It literally it's telling Tupac's story. So I would really advise people to go and watch that if they haven't. So now we're like back to the present day meaning last year. And basically, Diddy was watching as they had knocked down the Bad Boy building in New York, across from the hotel he was staying in. And Diddy he was basically trying to figure out how he can get out of the mess that he's in. So instead of like holding yourself accountable or trying to come to some solution saying, okay, cool, I've done this effed up or something, it's like, oh, let me try and get out of this. So Diddy then ended up asking Kirk Burroughs to like do something for him. And then as like Kirk Burroughs was getting some paperwork to bring into the office, Diddy was here allegedly getting a BJ off a girl. So then when Kirk was like, oh, what is it that you actually wanted me for? He said, oh, I didn't actually want you for anything. Like, basically what it was, he wanted Kirk to see Diddy getting a BJ. When people behave like this, or when people do things like this, it's like to show like I could kind of get anything I want. Like, it's like, I don't know how to describe it, because like I've been around people that are like that, but not to like Diddy's extent, like nowhere near. It's like, on terms of like, for example, oh, I'm gonna move to this girl and I can get her. It's like kind of a show-offish type of thing. And it's like to kind of like uplift their ego a little bit. Stay away from people like that. Like, they're constantly trying to be in competition with you. Like, just stay away from people like that, honestly. And then, as you can see from the screenshot at the bottom, in 2003, Kirk Burroughs sued Sean Combs, claiming breach of contract fraud and other issues related to his former stake in Bad Boy. I am going to stop it there because I don't want to give too much away, but this is just a little shortened version of the review. If you guys want to watch the full version, you have to head over to my YouTube channel to catch the full version. But yeah, here's a little insight of what I thought about episode 2. And be sure to leave in the comment section what you guys think. Oh, please, as well, please. I was meant to say this at the start. No spoilers. I can't lie. If I do see spoilers in the comment section, you are getting blocked. I don't play that. So yeah, you'll get blocked. I want to watch it peacefully and gracefully by myself. Thank you very much.
So far, my biggest takeaway from this Diddy documentary is the most dangerous person you will ever meet is an insecure man. Because every single action that Diddy did that hurt somebody stemmed from his insecurity. And it is his childhood insecurity that stayed with him his whole life. And with him not dealing with that, it bred greed and jealousy within himself. He was envious of all the other people around him that he felt like he was better than, and he felt like he deserved their spot. And when he eventually did earn his place in the world, and people saw him for what he was as far as like having his talent, he still was envious and greedy. And it's so crazy because like when you're dealing with an insecure man that has as much greed and pride as Diddy does, nothing is ever enough for him. Diddy could have easily champion himself off of being the producer that's super forward thinking. Even though he's not musically talented, he can curate a vibe and he has a great ear for music. Diddy has one of the best ears for music, you know what I'm saying? As far as like in, not even just hip hop, but like music in general. Diddy is extremely talented in his own way, but since he's not talented in the way that he thinks is normal and other people think is like normal, he doesn't feel like it's enough. He has to take from other people. He has to take other people's spots. And that's why you see him constantly trying to steal side pieces from dudes, constantly trying to force himself onto like his artist platforms and trying to make himself the centerpiece. And this is exactly what happens whenever you live under patriarchy and you're forced into a certain role that you can't uphold. I talk about this shit all the time, bro. And the part that really drove that point home for me was whenever they were talking about how Diddy was pretty much a soft kid. You know what I'm saying? He was getting his ass kicked all the time. And his mom was beating the hell out of him. And she did it to make him a stronger man. But whenever your core basis is to be soft and you're faced with extreme violence and you shrink back into yourself as a little boy, right? And your mother's forcing traditional masculinity onto you through violence and punishment, this is the result, bro. You grow up to be an insecure man that's constantly overcompensating to force himself into being the type of man that they think that they should be instead of just being the man that they want to be. You know what I'm saying? You're constantly overcompensating because deep down, you know that you're still that scared little boy, that soft little boy. And you feel like if you let your guard down and if you let this facade of traditional masculinity slip, everybody's going to see you for what you really are.
I just got done watching episode 2 of The Reckoning. First of all, 50 Cent, yeah, this is really good. This is too good. I mean, I know 50 Cent, he trolls. I get it. He likes to troll. He don't like Puff Daddy, P Diddy, whatever the fuck you want to call him. I'm gonna call him Sean on this one. But it's really informative because it's a lot of stuff that I don't think the public knew. Here's what I just now finding out. So Biggie had to pay for his own funeral. That's a dirty motherfucker right there. Sean Combs, Puff Daddy, P Diddy, Brotherly Love, whatever the fuck you want to call him. That's a dirty motherfucker. That is dirty as shit. And then, as a person who was old enough and watched this shit in real time and remembers how he was just exalted after Biggie passed away. And it's like the fact that they're saying, you know, he didn't want to go. And on top of that, he was supposed to go to the UK. He was supposed to go there. Had he hopped on the plane and took and went to the UK with that guy, he probably would have still been living. It makes me wonder, did he set him up? Was this all a plan? Because from the other guy's perspective, P. Diddy was very adamant on you gotta come. And why was he so adamant in partying over there? And then he said it. It's all for his ego. And it's like, damn, did you really usher Biggie to his death? Oh my God. I mean, like, that motherfucker is evil. Like, we make jokes. We make jokes and we, you know, about the oil, the baby oil, but I mean, I'm just thinking out loud. This ain't nothing pre-planned. I'm just thinking out loud. Sean is truly evil. Then, if you set this man up, then you're gonna make him pay for his own funeral. It's gonna be on Biggie. That money could have went to his children and his mother, his wife, who was Faith Evans.
let's jump into my favorite part of all of the content I post on YouTube. And that's just my thoughts, where I get to kind of express what I feel about whatever we have read or gone over. So let's get into it. All right, similar to when I did my breakdown of episode 1 and how it can relate to your dating life, I'm doing the same thing with episode 2 of this Sean Combs The Reckoning documentary. I have 5 key points I want to bring up, and then I want to bring you a relationship kind of coaching lesson around them. So, point number 1. Jealousy signals a lack of identity, and episode 2 makes that unmistakable. In episode 2, we see that Diddy shows deep resentment towards Tupac, not because Pac harmed him, but because Pac possessed a natural charisma, authenticity, and emotional presence that Diddy couldn't manufacture. He wanted the shine Pac had without doing the internal work to build a real identity. And if you notice, that was Diddy's big thing. He could float from identity to identity based upon who he could get within his grasp. This same insecurity fueled his jealousy toward Biggie and even toward the women around him. And that, from my observation, is what also triggered a lot of the abuse toward these women. It's not an excuse, but to give a little insight, he was jealous of these women. He wanted to be these women. He wanted to be able to garner the attention of these women. Jealousy is a horrible, horrible thing. So a relationship coaching lesson that I want you all to understand is a man who does not know who he is will always resent people who are grounded, gifted, or loved. Dating him means managing his insecurity instead of receiving partnership. You don't want to do that. You want to notice this early and you want to move accordingly. All right, point number 2. Power without morality becomes abuse. See how Diddy treated his artists, friends, and employees. In episode 2, it was highlighted that Diddy invited, what was his name, Kirk Burroughs, the co-founder of Bad Boy, into his office for no reason other than to force him to witness a sexual act at some point. It wasn't about pleasure, it was about dominance. He also was forced him to sign over his 25% shares in Bad Boy. Once again, an act of dominance, an act of abuse. This episode also details how Diddy pressured Biggie to stay in LA despite Biggie's discomfort and desire to travel to the UK to do press. This wasn't business, it was control. And sadly, that was the end of Biggie's time here on this earth because he listened to Puff, trusting him even though his intuition was telling him it was unsafe. So relationship coaching tip for you, lesson here, is a man who uses power to humiliate or force compliance is showing you he believes people exist for his benefit. In relationships, this shows up as emotional intimidation, coercion, and punishment when you assert boundaries. Be wary of any man who gets upset when you assert a boundary, a reasonable boundary, okay? And I think 99.9% of the boundaries that a person asserts about their personhood are reasonable, especially when it comes to a relationship. And a healthy man, emotionally mature man, if he has questions about a boundary that you may have said, he wants to have a discussion about it. He doesn't want to try to bully and intimidate you out of them or try to cross them and think he's going to receive no consequence. Point number 3, possessiveness isn't protection. It's a warning sign. Episode 2 illustrates Diddy's fixation on controlling proximity, access, and loyalty. He wanted to dictate who Pac spoke to, who Biggie interacted with, and how the world perceived him. He framed manipulation as, air quotes, protection, but what he really protected was his ego. This same pattern shows up in abusive relationship. When someone says, I just want what's best for us, or I'm protecting you from fake people, or I know what's best. When the truth is, he's threatened by your autonomy. Any man threatened by your autonomy, you need to get away from you. He will seek to harm you in order to control you. Relationship coaching lesson that I want you all to hear loud and clear is a man who protects, air quotes, by limiting your freedom is not protecting you. He is preserving his control. Safety feels expensive, well, let me rephrase that. Safety does feel expensive, but it also feels expansive. It's not restrictive. And if it's feeling restrictive, like you're a child on house arrest, then that's not the person for you. That is him exerting control and then trying to continue to press. point number 4 that I wanted to bring up from this documentary, this episode in the documentary, is his community knows who he really is. Like Puffy's community knows who he really is. Look at how people spoke about him in episode 2. In episode 2, it's filled with people who knew exactly who Diddy was decades ago. Industry insiders recounting his jealousy, his rage, and his manipulation. OGs discussing his alleged ties to dangerous networks. Artists describing coercion and intimidation. Family and friends noting his early abusive patterns. Like all of it was in there. Nobody seemed surprised. They were simply kind of relieved someone was finally willing to expose it. A relationship coaching lesson or tip here is if a man's friends, family or colleagues speak about him with fear, hesitation, or overly curated praise, believe the gaps. Believe the gaps. The truth hides in what people won't say out loud. And often you can sense that. Remember the part in episode 2 we were talking about he slapped his mother and Mark Curry was speaking on something. And I think one of the men who interned with him, I think his name is Dog, he was just talking about a lot of the behaviors. And now he noticed the shift in the Diddy he knew that went to St. Michael's High School to the Diddy we now know. He saw that shift happen. And there's a lot of fear and hesitation in the way people were emoting about him. Last point, point number 5. Ego plus threat equals escalation. The documentary shows this pattern repeatedly. So like him forcing Biggie to stay in LA, to his explosive reactions to feeling ignored, to seeking validation through control. Episode 2 makes one thing clear. Diddy escalated every time his ego was threatened. And where I think the root of this is, to segue this, was back in episode 1 when the guy that interned with him, Dog, was talking about how bad Diddy's mother, Janice, used to beat him. And he even said it was scary. He was like, I got beat growing up, but that was scary because Diddy couldn't fight. But once there was almost a viciousness about him that was beat into him by his mother. And he said when Diddy got in a fight, he's not going to fight you and punch you. He's going to bite. He's going to scratch. He's going to do whatever he has to do. He's going to win. This is the most dangerous type of man. He cannot handle rejection. He cannot handle being overshadowed. He cannot handle boundaries, and he cannot handle accountability. This personality type becomes volatile in romantic relationships, emotionally, psychologically, financially, or physically. And we've seen that demonstrated through the very public outlay about Diddy's relationships, especially post Cassie filing that lawsuit in November 2024, right? That had a trigger warning on the top about, some of the stuff it contained, and it was heavy stuff. This is the type of person you need to get away from. So relationship coaching lesson here is a man who needs to be the center of attention will punish you for shining. Your confidence, success, friendships, and happiness become competition. But then here's the key. Here's the caveat. These type of men seek successful women. They don't want the woman who's already quiet and kind of playing small in life and to herself. No, they want the biggest, shiniest, flashiest object they can find to beat her down. The beating her down is part of the draw for them. And that's part of their, how they're energy harvesting, honestly, off of that woman. So be mindful when you notice and observe these characteristics in men. So those are my 5 big takeaways that I wanted to bring to you all as a relationship coach, and then give you some lessons and tidbits around them. Let me know your thoughts in the comment below. Share with a friend. You know what I mean? Like, subscribe, etc. All right, ladies, let me leave you with this. When a man's insecurity becomes his personality, his leadership style, and his love language, the relationship is already a liability. Episode 2 of The Reckoning didn't just expose Diddy, it exposed the pattern, the blueprint, the danger of confusing charisma with character and mistaking ambition for emotional stability. If any part of today's breakdown made something click, if you recognize old dynamics, current dynamics, or the traits you never want to entertain again, that's your intuition doing what Tupac and Biggie couldn't, warning you before the fallout. And if you want deeper support, real-time coaching, and a community of women who are actively unlearning survival mode and dating with discernment, come join my exclusive coaching community on Coffee. It's where we dive into the real conversations behind these celebrity examples, the patterns, the psychology, the boundaries, the healing, the standards. The link is below. Doors are always open. Your evolution is waiting. I'll see you in the next chapter. Stay discerning, stay empowered, and remember, a man's behavior is always the truth.